Welcome back to Small Town Hauntings. I'm Nancy, your co-host, and today we're exploring the site and rich history and spiritual resonance, Fort Malden in Amherstburg, Ontario, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump from here.
Probably about 15
right?
minutes. Yeah. I'm Bella, and I'm your host and spiritual guide. So, yes, we'll be talking about Fort Malden, which is a historical landmark here. And it's got a lot of different stories about the war and healing and liberation.
Okay, let's get right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the history.
Established in 1796, Fort Malden served as a British military stronghold during the War of 1812, playing a pivotal role in the defense of Upper Canada against the U.S. We should always say that, against the U.S.
Yeah, against the U.S. It's the only ones we've ever been against.
Yeah, right? And then beyond its military significance, Fort Malden became a provincial asylum in the mid-19th century and later key terminus of the Underground Railroad, offering refuge to those fleeing slavery in the United States.
Again, the U.S.
Yeah. Helping people who need it from their U.S.
Yes.
From themselves. With such a multifaceted history, it's no wonder that Fort Malden is a focal point for both historical inquiry and spiritual exploration.
Yes. So now we're going to be diving into the good, the bad, and the ugly of Fort Malden. And so I'm going to dive into the good right now. So we're going to begin with the uplifting energies, the echoes of hope and gratitude that still permeate Fort Malden. Visitors often report feeling a peace and warmth, especially near areas associated with the Underground Railroad. These sensations are interpreted as lingering presence of those who found freedom here. One documented account describes a visitor feeling a gentle touch on the shoulder while standing near the riverfront, accompanied by overwhelming sense of relief and safety, which you would, right?
Yeah. But that would make me feel creepy.
That would, for sure. These experiences suggest that some spirits remain connected to Fort Malden, not out of unrest, but to express gratitude and to remind us of their journey to freedom, which makes
a lot of sense, honestly, especially for the Underground Railroad.
Well, for sure.
It really does. All right, let's delve into the bad. So, moving into more somber energies, Fort Malden's history as a military site and asylum has left behind residual imprints. Reports from staff and visitors include hearing phantom footsteps, muffled voices, and experiencing sudden drops in temperature within the barracks and hospital areas. One particularly compelling account involves a former interpreter who heard the distinct sound of a musket firing during a quiet evening with no one else present on the grounds. These phenomena are not malevolent, but are considered residual hauntings, echoes of past events imprinted on the environment.
Which makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's had quite a few different things happening there. It's really bad.
So it is actually, do you see it as like actual ghosts, or is it more like replaying?
It's a
like
replay.
A recorder. Is it? What would you
yeah,
call
it's a
that?
replaying. A lot of times when it's a ghost, they interact with you. They interact, like the one with the feeling the hand on your shoulder.
Yes, okay.
Right? So that's an interaction. But if they don't interact with you and they just keep doing the same thing a lot of times, it's just a recording. So it's just like because something's happened so violently. Something happened so violently there, it just left a recording there.
Wow.
It dissipates over time, but it takes a long time.
Does it?
And if, the thing is, they've taken this and turned it into a museum, so people go there and they feel the energy. So the energy will take a lot longer.
Oh, and they're reliving the stories too. Because I mean, we have been there.
Yeah, they dress up as the soldiers and stuff. So technically, it keeps feeding that energy. So will it ever really dissipate? Maybe one day.
And really, should it? Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe only because of the reason
should.
Well, maybe it should only so people, future generations, realize the
Well, I
suffering
think-
and the.
Well, I think they'll be getting the suffering from the storytelling. They don't need to hear phantom footsteps.
I don't know. The Phantom Footsteps kind of make it a little more interesting.
Yes, it does. So I'm going to get into the ugly of it. Speaking of phantom footsteps. Now we delve into the more intense energies, those associated with suffering and resilience. During its time as an asylum, Fort Malden witnessed considerable human suffering. Some visitors report feeling of unease and sadness in areas that once housed patients. One documented experience describes a visitor feeling an overwhelming sense of despair upon entering a former patient room, accompanied by the faint sound of weeping.
Aww.
These encounters serve as a poignant reminders of the individuals who endured hardship there, their experiences etched into the very fabric of the site. That's, and I think anything that I've ever gone into where they've had some type of like suffering there, especially with, the medical stuff that they were.
Well, yeah, if it's actually like an infirmary.
Yeah,
well, you're not dying. Yeah.
I mean, Fort Malden has a small inkling of it. I mean, by far, I think the one that would probably have the worst is the South, the place in the South, which they tend to visit a lot.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's not a plantation, like an actual.
Not a plantation. It's the where they had the war, in the South there in the States.
Oh, during the Civil War.
The Civil War, yeah. They there feel it's everywhere you go.
Right.
Yeah, it's just dripping with it because there was so much violence. We've been over there a few times, and I've felt things here and there, but nothing to, it's just that lingering feeling, the sadness and things like that. And of course,
and even as kids, I mean, I went there as field trips, and we would even try on like the outfits, like we were putting on the outfits.
Yeah.
We were walking through the barracks.
Get to hold the guns and everything.
I don't think we got to hold the guns.
Yeah, they were fake ones.
Were there? I don't remember.
Yeah, there was fake ones.
I'm not sure if they would want to give an 11-year-old a gun, but a musket.
I saw them there. I mean, they don't work.
No. Oh, we did that ghost walk a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Through there. That was an interesting experience.
Yeah, so we got to see something. And they talked about the asylum. They Salem there. Asylum. The Salem.
Not Salem. That's a different
Asylum, Salem. And how there was a patient that actually, remember the one that threw herself into the water?
Oh, threw herself into the water, yes. Yeah,
There's some people. The problem is that there was a lot of mental health as well.
I want to say her name was Mary, but isn't everybody named Mary?
Yes. I think some of the problems.
That's why it was an asylum. It was also she was suffering like mentally.
Well, that's the problem.
Right.
It's like they didn't know where to put these people that were having mental issues.
Yeah.
So they would put them all together. So
and she just wandered off
into the water.
I think did they assume she went into the water, or did they actually find her body?
They found her in the water.
Did they find her?
Yeah,
Okay.
they found her in the water. So I guess she's one of the ghosts that actually haunt there as well, because sometimes people, groundskeepers, have said that they've seen her in the water. They think that there's somebody drowning, and all of a sudden they're like, they'll call up. A couple times I think they did call the Coast Guard and stuff, and they came and there was like nobody in the water, but they saw somebody in the water kind of waving. And it looked like a lady. They saw the lady in I don't know if she was a particular white dress or whatever it was.
I think she was wearing white.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a dress or just her.
Or whatever it was.
Asylum.
Well, they would have said dress because, you're not going to think that there was a lady wearing a patient's outfit.
Right.
And that's what it was. I don't remember the story of why she went into the water.
I think she just wandered off because she was mentally ill.
I thought there was a reason why she went into the
reason?
water.
Yeah.
But she went into the water like in the cold, like in the dead of winter.
Yes, I don't know if there was a reason. I think I believe she just wandered off.
It might have been.
Because she was a patient.
It might have been because
they
it was
lost
right
track.
there. It was right there. So yeah, so they still, I guess she's still there a lot, and they see her a lot there every so often. So yeah, so that's kind of crazy.
Right.
Not to say crazy, but that's just it's Fort Malden's a very interesting place to
and
visit.
everybody should visit it. Honestly, it's a great tourist destination too.
My experiences with there was the ones that I find to have the most for me is those little like cottages that they have there with the soldiers in it.
Yeah,
that's where I get the most things happening.
Where they sleep, like in the.
because they have those little houses with like the little cottages, the little houses where the soldiers used to sleep, and there would be like two or three of them in there. That my experience, that's where I've always had experiences is there. I don't really tend to have it much in the barracks. I mean, in the barracks you can feel it and blah blah because there's like quite a few that would stay in there. But I think those cottages were actually the officers' cottages.
I believe so.
Yeah, my experiences that I've had two experiences with them there. Like I had an experience walking up to one of them where I walked up and in the window there was an officer staring back at me with a gun in his hand.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of it took me back for a minute because I thought it was somebody dressed.
Right, because when you go there for a tour, they are dressed.
Yeah. So I thought there was a officer that was dressed for that, and so I was just like, "Whoa, dude, this guy really looks good."
he's really going all out.
He's going all out, and it was later at night. And then he just kind of like, I remember looking again and he disappeared. I was like, okay, well that was creepy. And another time was as I was visiting again, we had just gone and we were walking through the Navy Yard. And I saw a guy dressed up as a soldier. But I could tell that it was a rough looking costume. It wasn't a costume, it was his outfit. It looked a little rough. So I was like, wow, this guy's really been to war. That's right, thinking.
Trying to make it really
real. And I saw him walking into the cottage. So I was just like, but he seemed very like in his soldier thing where he was like really marching. Like,
right.
And I could hear the footsteps. But the weird thing about it is I heard the footsteps, but I didn't see his feet hitting the ground.
Oh no?
No.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I remember like it was, and it all happened so fast, like quick. You're like, you look, you're like, what? And then he's gone. And in my mind, I saw him opening the door, but there's no way he could have opened the door.
Right.
It was almost like I got sucked back into like that era. And
so
it was
again,
kind of like
are you watching like a scene play out?
It might have been. I mean, it was a kind of, I don't know if it's because I don't know if I hit a vortex or something, and I kind of like watched it because it was just kind of a weird thing. All of a sudden, I was eating my ice cream.
This is not when you were actually touring the place.
No, this is just like both times. My husband and I had just gone for some road yogurt, and I didn't say anything to him because it creeps him out. But I mean, I wasn't very like. It took me a minute.
Just let him eat his frozen yogurt.
Yeah, just let him. I think one of the times, the ones where I saw the guy in the window, I was with you. I didn't say too much because I know. It freaks you out too.
No, so, that wouldn't freak me out.
No, the one in the window. It was later at night. We
also
had gone for ice cream.
Don't tell me that he's pointing the musket at me. I'm all right.
He was like kind of like
he was guarding.
He was like, "Who's out there?" And then the one about the soldier walking though, it was kind of a weird thing. And I remember thinking, and I'm sitting there eating my frozen yogurt. My husband's like, "Something wrong?" I'm like, So like, how are you supposed to say this? And I just remember like watching, and I'm thinking, oh, this guy looks like. And I actually thought, I'm like, did they do a reenactment? Because sometimes they do, right?
They do, yeah. I've been there. When
do they a reenactment? So, but every so often you'll get things pop up. Like I'll see all of a sudden. I think that I've seen a soldier come around one of the barracks, kind of thing, and then you see him kind of come around, and then you don't see him again. You're like, that must have been a mere reenactment. Maybe it's a reenactment. Another time is you see somebody near the cannon.
One thing is, are their pants too white? That's probably, if their pants are dirty, it's probably not a reenactment.
You don't get a chance to see how color the pants are because it happens so quick, and that you're like, they're gone in the blink of an eye, right? So it's like, what did I really see that? So yeah, so it depends. And it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes I'm there and I don't, everything's good and kosher. I'll get smells sometimes from the, like you can smell like the gun. I don't know if it's the gunpowder or like the cannon, like it's smoke. You can smell it.
Oh yeah, because the cannon's right out there.
Yeah. So sometimes you'll get the smells.
I've taken pictures by the cannon.
Yeah. You get the smells. You get the, I think a lot of it, I think it just gets stronger. It might get stronger when it's like the anniversary of near the anniversaries and stuff like that of the deaths and things like that.
Oh, of actual
Yeah.
wartime?
Yeah, wartime. And
makes
of course, when they do because they'll do the reenactments, it just brings it more to life, right?
Probably. That makes sense.
So, yeah.
But, yeah, people need to visit this place. I'm trying to think of the, you got the website there?
Yeah, I've got the website. But if they've had any experiences,
I was going to do that last.
you should do it now.
All right. So, have you ever experienced something unexplainable? Oh, at Fort Malden, yes.
Yes.
Felt a presence, heard a voice, or sent a story waiting to be told? Or sensed a story. Sent, yes, please send me stories that are waiting to be told, because I'm the keeper of the mail. So email us at smalltownhauntings@outlook.com. It'll also be in probably the description.
Yes.
Below, so the way I have to spell it out. smalltownhauntings@outlook.com, or reach out to us via our social media channels.
Yeah, which would be Small Town Hauntings on Facebook.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Is that it? Yeah.
I was gonna.
But if you would like to visit or get some more information on Fort Malden, we do have the website here that you can look up. You can look it up, and some of this information we got from Fort Malden historical site, Parks Canada, www.pc.ca/en/IHN
Oh my God.
-NHS.
You know what? It'll be down below. Or you can also just Google Fort Malden, Amherstburg, Ontario. I feel like we're back in like high school in the early 90s where everything was all programming. You're like, yeah, dot this, backslash this, forward slash
I don't
that.
understand
Who's
why
supposed to
the
remember all
Canadian
that?
website has to be so difficult. Why can't it just be Fort Malden?
Yeah, no.
It's like HN. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, you feel like you're talking programming language here. So honestly, it'll be
exactly.
down. It'll be in the description.
If you want to get the Amherstburg Freedom Museum, which I would suggest you do it. This one is very easy. Just Amherstburg freedom.org is where you go for that. But again, we're going to be putting those in there. But yeah, try if you want to go on the Canada website. Go on, please.
It's probably just better just to search.
Yes, search it.
Yeah. Just search Fort Malden, Amherstburg, Ontario. It will come up. Not a problem.
So thanks everyone for tuning in, and remember to come back next week where we'll be talking about Leamington's Haunted Lighthouse.
Ooh.
I didn't even know that it has a
I didn't
lighthouse.
either, so.
So